And now, let's bring out our candidates. I want to thank them for joining us tonight. By being here, candidates, you've demonstrated that you recognize the importance of the issues that we'll be discussing. By setting aside time in your busy campaign schedules, you've demonstrated that you understand that the stewardship of our great city means stewardship of our land, waters, and coast. Will you spur investment in water-inclusive infrastructure projects, such as those in the Greater New Orleans Water Plan? And how would your administration support community-driven implementation with community involvement?
Hello, my name is Matthew Hill. Thank you for being here. I want to offer a radically different approach to the way that we deal with water. Okay, no more concrete, no more asphalt as far as our streets are concerned. I want porous, recycled plastic as our top drivable layer. But under that, porous is wonderful, but that water needs to stay out of our water table. Look, we all know the reason why we're sinking is water gets down into the water table, we pump it out, and as the water drops, so does the soil, and that's what destroys the foundation on your homes. So what I'm saying is let's take all of that water and drain it into our street system so that under this porous plastic, we have an old school sewer system that's about 12 feet deep. And to stabilize this system, polystyrene, peanuts, because it compresses, it never takes on water, and as it compresses, it gets stronger. So we want that at the base of the system to keeping it stable. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Johnese Smith. My number is 26, and my platform is kingdom building. We must preserve ourselves. And I'm going to answer this question best as I can. If you ever heard of Willy Wonka, I will do a golden ticket to everyone who owns property. And what will happen is those homeowners who have the golden ticket, you will immediately call that number to the 311 emergency plan, and you will become the captain. You will be responsible for a certain amount of blocks, and you will clean those storm drains. In turn, you will have your property taxes free. Because guess what? You're involved, and we will also put your name on a virtual, letting everyone know during our storm season that this is the captain that you all can report to. And you will have your taxes free. And it will be random to the next homeowner. Every year will change.
That's your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. Matthew Hill, you have the first crack at this one, Mr. Hill. The question is, what steps would you take as mayor to improve the transparency and effectiveness of the Sewerage and Water Board?
Well, I specialize in a thing called Lean Six Sigma. It's not the most interesting thing, but it is vastly more important than anything else. Do you recycle? Do you take your trash and do you separate it and put it into the proper bin?
If you know anything about ants, if you knock over the mound, you see that there's an army that comes out. And then once the army comes out, then you have another group that comes out and they survey the land. Then you have another group comes out and they look to see what's going on, and then they begin to rebuild.
Right, thank you, Ms. Smith.
I'm sorry. And in reference to resilience, remember, Our resilient plan at one time in New Orleans was if you live in the lower coastline and you were poor, you go to your cousin's housing projects, and then, you know, if you had any money, you would go to Baton Rouge and just chill out, and then come home, we clean up, and then we go back to work. So we have to think about 64 parishes. We are a kingdom. We are one nation, black and gold. We have to think parish, 64. Thank you.
If we are going to move forward and do something like a street system that's not just permeable, this is actually a giant irrigation system. You won't ever flood.
Johnny Smith, kingdom building. We must preserve ourselves. My number is 26. Johnny Smith offered you a golden ticket, tax-free, property tax. Second, this plan does not include rapid rebuilding, which everyone is going to need with these exodus of millions of people exiting out of state and coming into our state. We need to think like the ant and rebuild quickly. Finally, Captain Kirk. Calling on Mr. Sewell, think of Louisiana as a spaceship. Calling on Mr. Sewell, telling us to go to warp speed. He gets a call from Scotty, and he says, Captain, Sally can't move. Why? Because we have no infrastructure. We're not strong. We're not resilient. If we had our spaceship and we have to move away from the other 51 states, can we fly by ourselves? Can we be resilient by ourselves? If you say no, we can't move. Thank you.
Let's say hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down, y'all.
Hunker down.
Hunker down. Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Well, hey, welcome again to Hunker Downcast. This is me. I'm here with Alli, who's sitting over here to my left,
Hi, Jeff.
and I'm here with Lance, who's sitting over here to my right.
Reverend Fard Burgess,
And
dirty boy.
We're here. We survived the month or whatever it was that we're.
There was
gone.
no pod death or pod rot.
pod rot.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when, you know. Didn't they used to have a phrase for blogs when they would sort of
Link rot.
stop? Is that what? Well,
So-
yeah, that was the content. But when the blogger themselves just sort of like both Alli and I did, but not Jeff, obviously, who continues to blog from his VHS tape recorder.
That's right.
I think the longest I ever kept a blog going was like 2 weeks tops. It was never really my thing.
It's work.
Yeah.
Blogging. Speaking of that, Pat told me he was thinking about resurrecting Rising Tide the other day. I'm sorry to break the news if he didn't want us to, but fuck it, it's our podcast. He was like, I don't know, we might could do it again. I was like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah, no. Pat, Pat, if you're listening to this, no, you're not going to do that.
What is he thinking? What is the idea?
I have no idea. This is news to me.
He just mentioned it offhand, and I was like, fuck no.
So
But he went on, and I'm like, no, let's not. How about no?
I think he was mainly...
Ma'am, how about no?
I think he's mainly joking, just given that, like, all the stuff we talked about, like, turned out to be very prescient, and, like, it would... oh, man, if only there were some sort of conference that could bring up all these topics again. Wouldn't that be cool? That kind of thing.
We were prescient as fuck.
I don't know what Pat's thinking, but like, if you wanted to do more community work and capacity building, I mean, he does all that shit anyway. Like,
Yeah.
he goes to all the neighborhood meetings and he picks up trash every other weekend or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
It's not like he's unplugged or anything. I don't know what it is he's looking to continue to build.
I figured I would be in that scenario, like fucking. He would come in and tell me that maybe he was thinking about doing it, and I would have been married to Aretha Franklin at that time and running a diner, and she would do a whole song about how I don't need to fucking do it, and I'm good where I'm at. Maybe Jeremy will sing the song.
You have talked in the past about doing like the Rising Tide tell-all book.
Yes. I think this podcast should be an episode for it.
Maybe we should do that. Like, just round up everybody and try and get some perspectives on it.
Let's let some people shuffle off the mortal coil before we do that.
Really?
So no one can yell at us or get all uppity about it.
I thought the idea would be to create some yelling and uppityness.
All right, well, fuck it. I'll do it whenever y'all are. Whenever y'all are ready.
Okay, future project, Rising Tide.
Because it's the origin story of the Hunger Downcast.
Recap.
Throughout the Hunger Downcast, there's little hints to our...
Rising Tide behind the music type.
Rising Tide, Hunker Down, both flood-related, storm-related, and
Yeah.
even our scheme.
I think it's time to start working on that. We're gonna line up some interviews.
Maybe not just behind the music, but maybe we can do like the pop-up video version of, where we'll just have a really annoying noise that'll just bloop, like right in the middle of somebody's interview, and then we'll have an auditory version of those dumbass comments that used to,
Who predicted Tracy Chapman would marry her guitar? Why was Thomas Dolby sued for his name? How many times has Billy Joel appeared before a real judge?
Did you know that Dave Grohl used to be in Nirvana? Wow, thank you, Pop-Up Video.
Or we could have Ron Howard come and say funny little, like, snotty stuff.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
The extremely Ron Howard narrator voice from Arrested Development?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did see that there's either in Los Angeles or in Seattle, I can't remember where it was, but there's a PodCon, like a podcast convention.
Oh, yeah.
So, like it's like Rising Tide,
in LA.
but for podcasts, right?
Well, there are many of them. There's the London Podcast Festival. They're like, this is a thing.
I didn't realize.
I want to say that I saw the Dawn and Drew Show was a podcast that I started listening to. I want to say like back, the job I had was in 2007, so I was listening to it then. And I was just checking in on them, like to say, I wonder if they're still alive, or they've broken up, or are they still podcasting? They had recently done their 1,500th episode.
Jesus.
And
That's
they won
so...
like a Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's just this man and his wife. They do little 45-minute episodes, and they talk about their lives. They do, man. And they have a little, they have Don and Drew Palooza, where everyone who listens to their podcast, because they live on this farm, everyone who listens to their podcast comes out and like camps out at their farm and hangs out and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah.
So that's
podcasting's got legs.
Something else to put on the agenda for us.
Hunker Palooza. Which could happen just at any bar in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, we really do need to start pumping out the merch. I mean, there's like so many things that we could be doing to market this show. But anyway.
Putting out episodes on a regular schedule.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Big time.
I think of maybe a caricature of Alli with a word bubble with just a little musical note on.
Okay.
Alli sings. That'll be the Alli shirt.
I'd wear it.
Be the bestseller, obviously.
Well, yeah, it'd probably sell better than Grumpy Cat, but with Jeff's face superimposed on the cat.
With Jeff's shirt. Let me work on Jeff's shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff.
Anything?
That's what they'll say.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything with Lance and a Speedo.
I intend to sell myself out sexually for these shirts for sure.
You've already done that.
I haven't done it enough.
Not
I've
yet.
only scratched the surface of it.
We've only just begun.
See?
Speaking of which,
Alli
Getting it in early.
Alli was singing at the gallery the other day, and she wasn't even being recorded. She'll just do it
all the time,
just for fun.
No, she's a real life Bollywood.
Have you guys ever met my mom? Because she does this like I do, but times 20. This is definitely like I come by it honestly. 'Cause my mom just walks around singing like all day long.
That's how
I
they
only know her
communicate.
as the gullible person on Facebook
Yeah, so she was that.
who believes everything.
Yep, that's true.
Friends, your mama's maiden name is Friends?
Yeah,
Yeah, man, that's such a friendly name. Just God, man.
Lynn
How can you
Friends.
not like Lynn Friends? It's just beautiful,
I don't
man.
think it works if you do it in code.
no, that is actually hilarious though. Because when I was a kid, my dad would, when you like go to a restaurant, and they ask you for your name, and he would say friend. Like he would not say his real name. He would say friend, and so then be like friend, party of four, and he would get such a kick out of it every time. He'd be like, "Oh, that's so nice."
I like his style because I have of late started saying Beyonce, and it gets such a reaction out of people when the person
nice.
comes out and goes, "Beyonce, your latte is ready, Beyonce," and I'm like, "Yeah, here I go."
You're
Everyone
like one of
loves it.
those Trump people, like making them say weird things when the cups.
What's your name?
Beyonce.
MAGA.
Right.
Trump people do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a thing.
They're fucking
You're
everything.
Beyonce MAGA though.
Well, this is in retaliation of that.
Right.
This is my response.
Yeah. Good job.
It's MABA, Make America Beyonce Again.
Yeah.
No,
Blue
that's
hats.
terrible.
Black hats. All right. What do you have for us, Jeff?
All right. So today we decided we were going to do an all SOSO episode. Like just everything this time is just what is going on with you guys and I guess me.
What's going on with the goings on?
That's right, because this is what people have been wondering this whole month that we've been off. Where did they go? Are they okay? Should we call somebody? So how have we been? We're just going to do SOSO this time, and then we'll see if anything else comes up. We'll get to it. Who wants to do this first? I think Lance has.
So
an
wait, we
extensive
have
list.
to tell them that we promised them a newsy episode next week.
Okay,
So
so
yeah,
it'll be good.
we're going to give y'all a real newsy episode next week in which Jeff is going to control the content, and everybody loves that Jeff content. It's the good fucking the meat of this entire podcast, and it's what y'all want to hear. But this episode,
he
we're
just
just going to talk
committed
about
you to-
shit we did.
He just committed you to a solo episode.
I guess
think is what
it
happened.
just. Hi everybody, it's just Jeff.
I'm going to talk to you about the
I'm
mayoral
going to
candidate.
describe to you the various pieces of lint that are sitting before me.
Contemplate his navel, the
reasons
lint
I
from
haven't-
his navel.
Done the dishes yet? Yeah, that kind of thing. It's really
All right,
simple.
well, let's, how many, I did several things.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's start with you because you have the most interesting list of.
No, but then the
I know,
whole
sir.
first part of the episode will just be me talking so much
Okay,
shit.
well, you kick it off, then we'll go to Alli.
We're gonna.
and
I
then
mean,
we'll
we're
move
gonna
around.
give you like feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna peanut gallery the hell out of this. Random.
I'm going to do a so-so, and then I'm going to throw it over to you, and you do your so-so, and then
All right.
we're going to come back and forth. That way we break it up. You know, just don't hear
We're
me
gonna do
talking the
so-so
whole
in the
time.
round,
Yes.
like that song "Praise and Thanksgiving."
There's no way to go backstage in the so-so. I'm going to start with by saying that I went to see a wrestling event in Metairie.
That wasn't on the list.
Oh man, you're just throwing curveballs here.
That is where
True.
I'm going to
I
start.
don't see this in my notes. Okay.
Well, I have my notes are over here.
Okay. Well,
Do you
Lance
have?
made
I have
notes.
the list that counts.
Can you believe this shit? Look at this motherfucker with notes.
I have notes. I made them.
my notes are bigger than your notes.
Jeff has his list, and I have my list, but I have the list that counts.
And I have a beverage from home.
All right. So
I went to a wrestling match in Metairie, and there was a title change. So that's fucking huge.
what kind of a title is this?
The World Championship, or the Wildcat Championship. It's called Wildcat Wrestling is the name of it. There were several
Wildcat
former
Wrestling,
WWF superstars there. Stevie Richards, Hardcore Bob Holly, who used to be a
porn star?
No, a NASCAR
His
driver
name's hardcore. Come on.
who his gimmick was called Sparky Plug.
He was a
'Cause he
wrestler,
was a race
and
car driver.
Wrestler and
No, his
a NASCAR
gimmick was
driver.
that he was a NASCAR driver.
Oh, okay.
So me and my homies pull up there, and we decide that we go to a little store in Metairie, and we get a bottle of 8-Ball, a bottle of Mad Dog, and some Smirnoff Ice. And we decide we're going to chug this stuff in the parking lot.
Okay,
So we park in the parking lot of like a Metairie high school.
So where are these locations specifically? So which high school?
Metairie.
Just Metairie. Metarie's a big place.
Yeah, it's all Metairie though. It's Metairie all the way through it.
So you're at some high school, not.
I want to say there was a canal there.
Yeah,
and a convenience store that smelled like mothballs.
Yeah, they got those.
And then there was a high school right by it.
They got
no idea what the high school was.
All right.
What street it was.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good.
It was a Veterans West Esplanade type.
Yeah.
Jefferson type street.
Might as well have been in Houston.
It could have been right. It could have been anywhere.
Great.
But there was a wrestling match there.
Okay.
So we were chugging the
At
beers.
the high school?
Yeah, in the gymnasium.
Okay. So this is the high school gym circuit wrestling.
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't
with former stars of the industry.
Well, people who were no longer, you got to be top of the line to be in the WWF. And after a while,
you end up on the high school circuit.
Yeah, but you are still considered of the high school guys, the high school circuit guys, or Bingo Hall, or Firehouse, or wherever the place is. They also hold matches at Shamrock.
Of course they
Carrollton.
do. Right.
Yep.
Which is itself a high school.
Yeah. It's just like kind of going back to high school there.
Right.
So we're tailgating
you mean Shamrock Charter School on North Carolina?
You learn lessons there. Shit gets taught
Life lessons.
at the Shamrock. Don't scratch the 8-ball is a good... Don't stack your super Jenga too high.
Right.
I got a PhD in drainage from the Shamrock Charter School.
So we're tailgating, and it's great because as we're tailgating, we're just kind of sitting in this car, and all kinds of wrestling fans. And this place, there was about several hundred, if not 1,000 people in this gymnasium.
It's a lot.
This little wrestling federation has a bit of a following. As we're sitting there drinking, we've never been to one of these things before. Me and my buddy Doug and Porter, our friend, the head of the Ragnarok crew. The wrestling fans are pulling up all around us and getting out and walking up to it. And each one of them has a little hype. Like first, they all come. One of them came out with a belt and he put it around his
the fans.
shoulder. Yeah, the fans.
Okay.
Put it around his shoulder. He walked around. His girl was with him. She was looking at him. She was like, "Yeah, you look good, honey. You look good, honey." He's like, "All right, yeah. All right." And he put it on her, and she kind of walked around real quick, and he was like, "Yeah."
And they're married now.
I don't know.
That made it official.
They looked like they were a close couple. That they were doing things that couples should do together because they both love them.
Well, when one wears the belt and walks around 3 times in a circle, and then hands the belt to the other, and they walk around 3 times in a circle, then they're married.
Oh, really? It's a common law type marriage. Okay. I don't know if it counts. Like if he needs his plug pulled, I don't think she's just because of that. She's allowed to do it.
Well, and I think under wrestling law, they're married, right?
I think the first wrestling match I went to was with my mom, and the next one I went to was with a woman that I later married. And I've never gone to one without someone who I didn't feel some deep emotional bond with. So it is kind of it's an event.
Right. So what happened at the event? So you have the
the parking lot thing was just amazing, just to watch the wrestling fans show up and get hyped for it, because they were all types of people in really nice cars, people in polo shirts, people like punk rockers and stuff like that. They all pulled up.
The three genders.
They sort of they hyped themselves up, and we're all just kind of scared in the car. We get out.
Kind of scared?
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
We're going into an environment that we're not familiar with, and it's in Metairie.
With Mad Dog and Smirnoff Ice.
We're in.
You gotta go
that's
prepared.
how we're. Yeah, that's how we're dealing with our anxiety.
First, you get the gear for it.
So we decide we're going, and we have no idea what to expect. So we go. We're walking towards the gym, and my buddy Porter. He's walking by this dumpster, and he must just smell glory or something.
Wait, smell what?
Glory.
Oh, glory.
Just
it's usually in the dumpster.
Stamina and glory, because he just stops and he walks over to the dumpster and he undoes it, and he looks inside, and there's about 8 shoulder pads of different sizes that the high school sports department had thrown in this dumpster, and they're perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with these things. Of course, we stop. You know. We have to get all of those out then, and then take them over to the car. Because there's no way we're not taking these things. We're all salvagers. So we got like about 6 pairs of football shoulder pads out of the deal that we didn't even plan for.
Right, you're coming out ahead already in this.
Yeah. So we go into the wrestling match, and I take it upon myself to just decide that I am the one that's going to hype everybody up for every match. Like anything that the wrestlers are trying to do to get a reaction out of the crowd, I'm going to recognize that and either boo them or cheer them or tell them that they're terrible or whatever.
You are leading the call and response.
I'm one of the people because there are lots of other people there who are also into this. And
it's a participatory.
You're being a good follower.
Yeah, I'm fanning up and stuff.
Yeah.
So it goes on and on. There's a wrestler called Danny Flamingo, the Dalmatian sensation.
Oh, hell yes.
He comes out. I couldn't decide whether he was a fan favorite or not. I mean, obviously, if he's a local boy, he's going to be pretty good. There's a match between like a slutty girl and a good girl, in which I am, a sexually liberated girl and a girl that's been pinned down by the patriarchy. So obviously I was cheering for the sexually liberated girl. Well, that was not super popular, and some ladies around me were like giving me the real hairy eyeball for cheering for her. Her name was Katie Forbes. And then after that, there was a title change. The midget little person. What?
Yeah.
The little person.
There was the
Tyrion Lannister looking gentleman who was their head of security.
Oh. Naturally.
He said it might have been held up because there was a low blow. Then we all left, but before we left, I tried to get a picture with Katie Forbes, the sexually liberated woman.
Sexually liberated, yes.
She said it would be $5 to get a picture with her. I was like, that's cool. Yeah. I had $4 in ones and a $100 bill. And I could not. She did not have change.
She didn't accept your 4 ones?
I didn't offer it to her.
Oh.
I didn't want to, being an artist and having people lowball me all the time,
all right.
I didn't say, would you take 4? I wasn't going to disrespect her. She was definitely worth $5, and I wasn't going to pay her anything less.
A man must have a code.
A man must have a code. And then nor did I want to show her the 100 and say, well, what does $100 get me?
Yeah, because that's the other move.
Also disrespectful.
Oh, that'd be creepy as fuck.
Right,
so
right. I mean, we're talking about...
I would have been really bummed if you had done that.
I know. I didn't.
I know.
I didn't do anything, which is one of the things that has gotten me this far in life.
Not doing anything?
Yeah, just...
Yeah, when in doubt,
do nothing.
Let it ride.
Yeah, always do nothing. And then we bounced.
Corollary is, always be in doubt. Therefore,
the ladies in our lives were also hanging out and having cocktails together during this, and then we met up with them with our shoulder pads on. We decided to wear our shoulder pads out into the quarter.
Yeah, sure, that's what you do.
And just to confuse people and stuff. So that's one SOSO. Wildcat Pro Wrestling in Metairie. They're having their 5th or 6th anniversary show coming up soon. So if anybody wants to go to that with me,
you have no
Super
idea.
Deformed, for example.
Yeah. But you don't know where the venue is or anything else about it.
No, somebody else handles that for me.
Okay.
They just call me and say,
it's like the dinner lab of high school wrestling circuits.
Yeah, it just pops up. But it's their anniversary show. So
okay.
Other than the show, I mean, there was tons of stuff, but it's been so long ago that I guess a couple of them have slipped away. I saw a lot, and there was a title change. Stevie Richards lost his title to an African American.
What kind of a title is this?
His name was Jake Spade or something like that.
What sort of a title is this? Is like
I mean, it's the title for that federation.
So just the
their
the king
world
of that
championship.
Okay, yeah. Good. So
we were there.
You witnessed history while you were wearing discarded football equipment from.
No, we didn't wear it into the gym. No.
Okay.
There were people who took it seriously.
That would have disrespected the spirits of that gym.
You have to maintain the decorum.
We're nothing if not respectful.
Yeah, it sounds like
spirits.
it. Definitely sounds like it. Okay, so that's one of yours. That's one I didn't see on the list here.
You want to talk about?
I have the list that
LSU?
counts, Jeff. You have the press's list,
Yes,
and I have Nagin's list.
I got you.
And Nagin's list is the list that counts.
I still don't understand your confusion over the list. There were 3 lists before.
I'm not confused about the list.
I think you are, though, sir.
No,
with all due
you
respect.
are.
I'm not,
You are
because
confused.
you gave us a list through Miss Moses.
You got a
Fields
list
last
through a
week.
lot of different sources.
I know, but we're using
and
one list.
you didn't get the list that counts through us.
I didn't. So what was the list I got last week then?
I don't know. You had 4 lists.
Well, what list did you give me last week?
Well, keep in mind, to my understanding, you received a list from the Mayor's Office of Communication the day before, which was at Monday. Subsequently, you requested all information to meet with NOAA, and you sat down and you went through based on that particular list. I think the point that the Mayor is making is that there have been several different lists, and he cannot stand here in an interview and go off of which list you actually received. Now, if you want to sit down and compare the different lists, I think it would be in a better position to particularly address, but to know which one, since there have been so many that have been circulating.
There's so much misinformation.
Right, and a lot of
so much
inconsistency.
misinformation.
Okay, fine. This is just humorous.
You think it's you?
No, it's humor because there's one list that you gave me last week, and you're saying that we're confusing lists. You're saying we're confusing lists. We're not confusing
How
lists.
can you say this is humor?
Because I don't understand the confusion over the list. You gave us one list last
You
week.
understand a lot of things.
Like what?
Like what you're supposed to be doing.
What am I supposed to be doing then?
Fair journalism.
And you don't think this is fair?
Absolutely not.
And go over which list
Absolutely not.
We're going to wrap this
I don't
up.
think you've been fair from day one.
We got 2 weeks in and y'all still can't provide an accurate list like that.
Oh, get out of here, man. I don't want to talk to you.
All right.
That's a throwback. Holy shit.
And if anyone comes and questions my list, I might cold cock them.
Cold cock 'em. Take them out in the parking lot and cold cock 'em. That's right. Yes.
We love you, Ray.
Those were the days. You want to talk about the LSU BYU game?
Sure.
Yeah. So,
thanks to a series of events,
mostly bad.
mostly bad.
Yeah, Hurricane Harvey fucked up our neighbors to the west, and for that reason, the LSU BYU Advocare Texas kickoff
I forgot it was sponsored by Advocare.
was moved from NRG Stadium, or the NERG, in Houston to our very own Louisiana Superdome.
Superdome, take the game.
And tickets were available, so I grabbed a couple, and Jeff and I went to the game. And that was fun.
I hadn't seen an LSU game in person actually since last season. That's what I was about to say. It was a long time ago, but no, I went to that Ole Miss game last year, which was a lot of fun.
Where were y'all seated?
We were in 619, so...
Nice.
Yeah, way up the top. And, it was like they did not sell out the Superdome. There were a lot of empty seats, especially where we were. So it got kind of like, it felt... I think if we were lower down, it would have felt like there was more of a crowd.
Yeah.
But like where we were, it
was
felt
a little sparse.
kind of empty. And it gets cold in there when there's no...
Yeah, and I was wearing a muscle shirt, so I was really cold. But it was great.
Is there a difference between one of those and a tank top, or are they the same thing?
Yeah, a muscle shirt has like bigger armholes and wider. It's wider at the top, so it's kind of like a t-shirt with the sleeves ripped off. It's the kind you wear all the time.
Interesting. No sleeves, no problem.
Yeah, but a tank top has like skinnier straps.
Okay, and probably a deeper neckline. Huh?
Can be. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. No need to distract.
But we had a good time. We scared off the people around us, as we usually do.
And we did, didn't we?
We drank
You
a
noticed
lot of light beers.
Yeah,
as we always usually
I was
do.
in a panic when we got there because we're in the top section, and like not only were there...
Yeah.
They didn't staff the concessions on the top of the dome, and I thought, well, shit, they're just not selling beer. And I was like kicking myself the whole like.
You were like in a dry county.
Yeah.
Yep.
Until I found it. So.
We found the beer.
Yeah.
crisis averted. And then we watched LSU blank BYU, which it turns out BYU is extremely bad. Although,
they would have to be, wouldn't they?
Do you know who their offensive coordinator is?
No.
It's Ty Detmer. And it turns out he's really bad at that job.
He can't go home again, Ty.
No, he can't. Because BYU's season is basically over. That's
weird. You know, I was thinking before the game. I probably told you this before the game, but like, don't be surprised if it goes badly. You know, because I know LSU's playing all these freshmen, and
you were just 2 weeks too early.
Yeah,
right. You had a feeling, but it
was prescient.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was. They shut those people down.
I mean, it was great.
BYU didn't cross the 50.
Nice to see the other team do that.
That's
for a
right.
change.
But you know, the signs were already there. I think LSU committed I don't know how many penalties, but they were already beating themselves. You know,
there was
this whole game.
Some stupid ones like false start penalties and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean the score really was 27-0, and it should have been in the 50s because they killed themselves in the red zone a couple of times. I think they missed a field goal.
Yeah.
So you really want to think negatively about it. That you could see the signs there.
I mean, in their defense, it was a little unfair that they had to travel all that far, and then LSU was basically just playing a home game because they pulled that shit that they fucking always do. Let's just play here. Let's just play. Oh, what hurricane? Let's just move it over. We'll just play right here. And not only that, but y'all brought all those Mormons into Southern decadence, and they undoubtedly were vexed by everything they saw happening around them.
You know, people say that, and people are anticipating Mormons at decadence all weekend, but I don't know how many Mormons you have hung out with or met in your life, but they're really pretty cool with this kind of stuff going on around them. They just don't drink and they don't participate in it. But in fact, I remember.
They do have multiple wives, so they do get a little sneaky freaky.
Not everybody.
When we were walking into the
enough.
When we were walking,
the ones that don't, they want to. They're like, I wish I could be one of them multiple wife type guys. Not the women, of course.
I remember
nothing in it for them.
When we were going into the dome, the preachers were out in front of the Superdome.
Yep,
remember
they
that?
were.
And it was the preachers who came in for decadence were also
the homosexual sin guys.
Yeah. They were also at the dome screaming at the Mormons for being Mormons because they're
they don't like any of them.
Right.
They don't like Catholics.
It was. I think really for them that made the weekend really more full. Because they could go yell at Mormons.
They got to yell at all of their least favorite people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't miss this opportunity. The universe is converging, and we definitely need to get down there and yell at the drinkers, the Mormons, the Catholics, and the gays and lesbians.
That's right.
And probably a couple other people. I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen those images that have the complete list of people they hate.
Right, but
they had one of those too.
It's deep.
Yeah.
You can't play video games.
No,
going to hell.
They had the big sign, and I can't remember what was on it. But
used car salesman was on them one time. I was like, "Fuck! I gotta hit the dealership every fucking time, or I'm going to hell." I got a Mercedes that's fucking 10 years old, and maybe I want to fucking put it on Craigslist, and if I don't, I'm going to hell.
I think you can make one of those and just bring it out. And then you could put whatever
fidgeters,
you want. Right? Fidgeters.
Tag yourself. I'm harlot.
Untucked shirts. People with untucked shirts.
People who follow too closely on the highway. You just whatever you want on your list. And if you go stand next to them,
sunglassers.
Woman with her own bank account.
So much, man. It's
ATM fees. Whatever you want on the list, just put it up there, and they won't know the difference.
Put it on there, and John Kennedy will put it in his amendment to modify the Graham-Cassidy monstrosity.
What did Kennedy say at the end of the day today? He said he was gonna make sure that you have to. There's a work requirement for Medicaid. Which is
Even though most people on Medicaid already work, and those that don't are blind, elderly, disabled, or children.
Right. A lot of people are on Medicaid specifically because they can't work.
Yeah.
It's right. This whole week is like it's a race to see who can be the worst Louisiana senator.
Yeah, they're neck and neck.
You said something earlier about this. You said that it was you had a metaphor for the Obamacare repeal where it was like
they're just trying to wear us down, like a guy who really wants to sleep with a girl, and his tactic is to just hit her up as many times as possible, hoping that he'll just catch her in that weak moment where she just says, fuck, okay. And that's what the American people are in this scenario. It's just like, God damn, fuck, pass it, motherfuckers, please. Although I don't think that's going to happen. When does it go to vote?
That's a good question. Is it this week or next week, or or they have to decide to put it on the calendar even yet?
I don't think it'll be this week. It'll be next week, but they want it to get in before the 30th.
That's right.
Because that's when the reconciliation instructions expire. So if they want to pass it as basically an amendment to the AHCA, which passed the House earlier this summer, they have to do it before the 30th, which also means that if they're working on that, they can only have the Senate only has 90 seconds of debate time left.
Oh my God.
So they have no time to debate it. There's no time to hold hearings on it. CBO can't score the whole bill. And what was the other thing?
Like the most immediate thing it means is that they can't. It's their last chance to pass it with a majority of 50, right?
Right, exactly.
Because they would have to have more Democrats, and they wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, we're getting off topic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it next week. I don't know how BYU ended up.
Oh yeah, so BYU,
they'll be able to tell us, but
I was excited that we got to go to that game. I'm sorry that it was under those circumstances, but it's really cool to see LSU in the Superdome. It's cool to go see LSU in person. It was great to be there for the opening game. We get to see the band come out and get all excited and stuff.
Yeah, that was fun.
There was beer.
There was beer in the dome. I was really excited about that. And they won, and they beat the hell out of somebody. And then, they got into the SEC play this week, and things are going the other direction now. But,
yeah, because it turns out that we have a team almost entirely made up of freshmen and injured people.
Right.
And that's not going to go very well.
No. And, it's the whole football ennui this year is going to be... It's going to be a lot to take if it stays like this. But I don't know. I'm not one of these people who's ready to dump Coach O yet.
Hell no.
Everybody's all we just went through.
I mean,
this.
if you don't believe that he should have ever been hired, then you believe he should be fired the entire time.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
So you've got this rump coalition, like these people who are like, yeah, see, I told you so, and it's just because he lost one game.
Wait, what is it? Where did you get that phrase, rump coalition?
It's just the people who were the anti-Coach O, who are left of the anti-Coach O, and
are they the people who are for less?
They're the hardliners.
Because there's probably a certain segment of them who were like, fuck less, but also fuck Coach O.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'm just the anti-Coach O rump is what I'm saying. The people who are left.
I mean, I'm a less guy, and I don't want to be grouped in with the...
I'm not grouping you in with anybody. I'm just saying that there's these people who are taking this opportunity.
Don't say me. Just talk about people who are for less. But
so there's the less would have won people, and then there's also the why the hell didn't we hire Tom Herman by dumping the money truck in front of his house?
Right.
People.
And those are different guys.
Those are I think those are different coalitions.
It's like libertarians and Republicans, man. Different guys. Still on one side, but strange bedfellows. We don't want to have nothing to do with them.
But
I'm a less guy.
Okay, but what they have in common this week is they're all running the I told you so flag. And I think it's a little too early to
I told you so not hire Coach O. I
Right.
told you so don't fire less.
I told you so don't hire Coach O.
Right.
It's an anti-Coach O movement. And it's not...
I'm not anti-Coach O.
Then what the hell are you?
I'm pro-less.
He's less would have won.
I'm less would have won. I'm a Bernie guy.
Okay.
I'm like the Bernie of this. I'm not anti... wait, hold on. Let me make this.
He voted for Coach O, but less. He voted for Coach O, but less would have won.
Okay,
I did. Yeah, exact. Thank you, Alli.
I got you.
In Les's book,
I'm a less bro.
The title of Les's book is "What Happened," but with a question mark.
What happened?
What happened?
That LSU Mississippi State game though was a complete and thorough beatdown. That was so rough to watch.
I made myself watch the whole thing.
Oh God, it was bad.
I don't know what to say about it.
It was a beautiful moment. I had not been watching. I was still basking in the glory of the Florida Hail Mary. And I just went to the shop, and I was like, oh, yeah, there's an LSU game. Let me put WWL on. And I, put it on, and I could kind of tell by the tone that the announcers had in which they were just calling the game, but they didn't, kind of do any, atmospheric type, speaking or anything like that. I'm like, they're not really saying what's going on. And then
trying to hide it.
Mississippi State scored, and they're like, okay, and Mississippi State has just scored on their 6th straight possession. And I was like, holy shit, these guys are getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, LSU had just scored on their last 5 possessions, which I didn't think had happened, just based on the we're trying to keep it together tone of the announcers.
Yeah. It was it started badly and got worse. LSU scored on their first play, or not, maybe first or second play from scrimmage, and that was called back, and that was just the pattern for the rest of the night.
Yeah, the refs stole that touchdown from us, as Joe Tessitore admitted on the announcer said, wait, no, that was bullshit. They deserved those points. And then everything else, we earned it. The 2 targeting penalties, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it ended up not mattering.
It was sloppy, demoralizing, and the coaching staff in no way could get the team back in the game, even after that first penalty.
Yeah.
There was just, they were so deflated from the start, and it was the first whiff of something not going right for them. They were they crumpled up. It was sad to watch.
The freshmen don't really have a base, though.
No, but
to rely
not everybody's
on.
a freshman. I mean, the D-line is anchored by La Couture, and a couple of those guys have been around for a long time.
Yeah, but they didn't have a lot of depth. I think.
No, they had no depth whatsoever.
So, and then somebody got thrown out of the game, and then it was really bad.
Ed Alexander broke his hand again.
Yeah. Oh, this targeting. There were 2 targeting penalties that got defensive players thrown out of the game for LSU in the game. The whole theory with this
sounds like a garbage night
with this staff is that they have this hot, big money, brilliant defensive coordinator and a big money, brilliant offensive coordinator, and Coach O just has to stand around and be the mascot, basically.
Right.
How bad is it though if both those coordinators are getting outsmarted this badly? I mean, I've never seen an Aranda defense. I've never seen them ripped apart like that before.
It was bad. I read Ross Dellinger's article in The Advocate from Sunday or Monday, recapping how Sunday went for the team.
Oh, God.
Basically how they were all, all the players showed up to watch film, and Aranda, ripped him a new one, and he was, really pissed because... And the players were pissed at themselves because they had missed all these things, and it was just... it was dark. It was dark.
They made them come in the very next day?
No, they didn't make them. They always have Sunday as their day off, but a lot of people came in anyway.
They volunteered to come in?
To get yelled at.
Yeah.
And to watch film.
No, you need a little time to ruminate on something like that, it seems, Come in with a fresh start.
Well, yeah.
My second question about this, though, is, Canada is supposed to be, we didn't need Tom Herman because we had Matt Canada, right? We have, this inventive offense that was going to open it up and do all kind of crazy things, and on their one touchdown drive, they didn't throw the ball once on that whole drive.
Nope, they did not.
It was very less.
They ran it up their donkey.
Ran it right up their donkey, and
well, it's also because when they tried after that first beautiful pass that worked, I think there were maybe 5 or 6 other ones where it hit guys in the hands or in the chest or in the face. And they dropped it, which is just absurd. Danny Etling is not a world-beating quarterback, but his receivers were not doing him any favors out there. I mean, it was just there, and some of it was timing. The receivers weren't running the timing routes
correctly. A couple plays like that.
I mean, it was just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was one of those days. I was surprised at how like Canada shut it down. So far, my observation is that he has one trick, and it's like to run the unbalanced line.
Yeah.
Like he moves all. Look, he put the tackles in motion, and they're all on the left side, and then
which doesn't matter if they can't set the edge over there anyway.
Right. And then nothing happens.
Which they couldn't. Which is why they got beat on the line on nearly every play.
They were terrible.
Oh, they were so bad.
Who are they playing next week? They some garbage team?
Syracuse.
Wow, that's not that bad.
Nope,
yeah.
It's not.
Oh god, they're gonna have to actually play.
They are.
Well, it was good. It was a good week to be a Florida Gator fan, anyways.
Yeah, I just learned from that game that Felipe Franks is actually playing for Florida. I didn't know what happened to him after he left.
Yeah, he's playing all right.
I mean, Florida won. I saw some.
No, they looked good throughout.
They did?
Yeah, their defense was kicking ass throughout that whole game, and they got a touchdown that the guy fucking fumbled on the fucking 2-yard line because the defender came up and did one of them tuck tackles, and he fumbled outside the end zone, but it should have been over right then and there. I feel real good about the way they looked. It was awesome.
I will just say that I did not watch the game, so I'll take your word for it, but Spencer Hall described the Florida-Tennessee game as two pigeons fighting over a chicken wing. Because
I did watch the game. I don't know what even to say to that, Allie. You didn't watch it, and you mentioned somebody fucking from the internet. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like him.
A Florida fan and graduate who's a professional college football guy.
That's true.
Right. Well, if he were here, then I would debate him.
Okay.
He's not. I did watch the game. They look fucking good. Their defense is fucking good. They're gonna fucking come to Baton Rouge. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, they're not.
They are not gonna come to Baton Rouge.
Can we put that game in the Superdome though? Just
it depends.
If we get another hurricane,
when is it?
Baby.
Like hurricane season is when does hurricane season end? November 30th?
Yeah.
It goes forever now.
Yeah, it might be.
Different.
That might be a thing of the past.
Right.
So, something our grandkids are gonna
right.
like. I remember when hurricane season used to end.
Fuck.
Anyways, it was a beautiful moment, and I can't wait to play y'all.
Can I also mention that Notre Dame put 49 points up on Boston College and had like 600 yards of rushing?
You could certainly mention that.
That was pretty great. Our quarterback
and y'all are 2-0.
No.
Oh.
We're 2-1.
Oh, who'd you lose to?
Georgia.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. That also happened while we were gone.
That did happen, yes.
Barely, though.
She doesn't.
They barely lost.
Very happy about this. Yeah. The Irish Dog Bowl.
The Irish Dog Bowl.
I'm so sorry I missed that. That's another thing I did. Well, I'm not even going to mention. I went to a art fair in Homa that night.
All right. Well, then, can I do my?
Yeah, let's do yours.
Yeah.
All right. So I was in Washington D.C. last week, our nation's capital, and
lots of Greek revival buildings.
Yeah, Greek revival.
Very garish marble.
Some brutalism, which is my favorite. The D.C. metro system is all the stations are brutalist. The underground with the arches, it's my favorite. I love it.
I went to a brutalist school. My middle school.
Yeah.
The 8th grade hall was brutalist.
Hell yeah! I think brutalism done well is like, it's so good.
I had a debate with somebody about whether the K&B building.
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay, because somebody, I said it
K&B
online
Plaza
one time.
on Nameless Circle?
On the, yeah, I'm
on
sorry.
Formerly Circle?
Tivoli Circle. So it is.
Oh, definitely.
Because somebody disagreed with me, and I didn't have enough knowledge on the subject to mount a whole fucking day's
Yeah, I would call that
debate
brutalism.
I think so, too. We'll put it out there.
Brutalism, by the way, sometimes misconstrued. It's not called that because it's brutal to look at. It's brute is French for raw, and it's raw concrete. So it's like unpainted concrete. Right. That was the point. So
I had always wondered that.
Well, here we go.
So you've already learned something.
Here's
now,
where you see the
next
the
time
more
someone
you know
challenges
star.
you, right?
Well, that's why I'm doing this stuff.
Yeah,
that's why we're doing this podcast.
We're doing this to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
learned how to make pickle meat.
So if they tell you, hey man, that would look so much better if they painted it, you can be like, no, the one thing you can't do with brutalist architecture is paint it.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Leave it stone.
So actually, DC.
And if you do, use porch paint by all means.
DC Metro.
Porous paint.
DC Metro started painting the interior of some of their stations, and the preservation and the architecture people are so incredibly furious about this.
Boy.
Well, because it also looks like shit. Like the concrete can, like, all you got to do is pressure wash it, every few years or something. But the paint gets dirty almost immediately, so it just looks awful. But
don't paint concrete or brick.
Yeah.
Ever.
I agree. Could you write to DC Metro and tell them to do that?
Not my fight. I don't got a dog in that fight.
So anyway, I was there, and after I was done with the business portion of that trip, I did a couple things for myself. One being, I spent a few hours at the National Gallery of Art, which was phenomenal. It's a Smithsonian museum. So
many Smithsonians there.
So many, but that means it's free, which is great. I saw they had a fabulous collection. I really enjoyed it, and it just made me remember how much I love going to museums.
Oh yeah.
I felt inspiration. It was nice to be around, to be able to get up really close and look at all the brushstrokes on these paintings that are 400 years old. It's just the coolest thing. And I always feel like with paintings that you can look at a picture, especially something like a Van Gogh, for example. You look at a picture of it, or online or a poster or something, but I don't think you can really appreciate the physicality of the strokes and of the things he was doing with the brush movements until you see it in person. And then it's a totally different thing.
And the size.
And the size, too, for sure.
Some of them are fucking 8x10s. But then some of them are literally 18 by 24s. But you never can tell because you're always just seeing the fucking image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was great. That museum is amazing.
Can't do them all in one day. The thing is that
right.
That's the shitty thing is that you always have to end up at the end. You're like, oh well, we gotta make dinner. Blah, blah, blah. So you have to kind of rush through the last fucking part of the museum. So really, you just need to give yourself a fucking whole day.
I gave myself a whole afternoon for sure. And that's also why I like going by myself, because then I'm not on anyone's clock but mine.
Fucking right.
Which is the best way to do a museum.
I did the Philly Museum of Art
a lot of that, and it was
fucking great.
Yep, you sit when you want to. You spend time at the one you want to. Go to museums by yourself. Put your headphones in. Just enjoy it.
Totally.
But wear really good shoes, because I had to take breaks a lot because I wore shitty shoes. And I'm too old to not wear my most supportive tennis shoes when I am in a fucking museum. So that was my fun thing. And on the next day, so on Saturday, I was still in town, and I was like, oh, well, what am I going to do today? I did some museums yesterday, so I think I'm just going to go down to the mall and see what's going on, and poke into whatever feels right.
Right.
And as I got down there, I started to see some interesting crowds of people on my way down, because then I remembered that Saturday was the day of the Juggalo March and the Juggalo rally.
Right. Also, there was a Trump rally there that day too.
I saw them too.
Okay.
So I'm getting there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I'm walking down to where the day before had been a totally wide open space, no, barely any police presence of any kind. And I get down there, and they have every street around the mall totally blocked off with, military vehicles.
Because of the Juggalos?
I don't know why.
Okay.
I think there were multiple events, and they were not taking any chances, and they had put up, a full perimeter around the mall, the White House, the Capitol, everything. And I get down there, but it also feels like kind of a normal day. There's just tourists walking around, and It feels kind of empty. Have you guys been to the mall? It's
Sure.
kind of weird how empty it feels. It's like this
So
feels,
spread out. Yeah.
This feels like not the best use of the
Lots
best
of
programmed,
lawns.
programmed space. So I'm walking around on the Capitol side, sort of, by the Air and Space Museum. And I'm like, where is everybody? This feels really empty. There's a big, like, Fiesta Latina type festival going on. So the background to all of this is, like, loudspeaker, like, Latin music. And it's already starting to feel pretty surreal. So I walked further down towards the Washington Monument, and that's when I found the CHUD rally. So
The CHUD rally.
the mother of all rallies,
Right.
or
Chug.
CHUD.
CHUD.
Yeah,
What it stands for?
the MAGA CHUDs, just like the those like the Trump people.
What is CHUD? Where
CHUD is a
where it originates?
It's a term for MAGA people.
CHUD.
CHUD. Yeah. No, I assume that it.
Nobody has a.
I assume that it came from
origin of that.
I
in
assumed
this usage. It comes from I got it from Matt Chrisman on Chapo.
No, but people say it all the time. I assumed that it's a reference to the movie CHUD
From the VHS stores back in the day?
Yes.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers?
Yes, I assume that that's what it's a reference to, and it's that is a description of like MAGA Trump people.
Okay, they're cannibalistic
they're-
humanoid underground dwellers.
Yes,
That is the best answer you could have given me because
I could be completely wrong.
fucking I used to walk it by it in the VHS store. And be like,
Keep circulating the tapes.
But it is my assumption that is what that's a reference
All
to.
right, well,
we can look it up later, but
put it in the show notes.
We will.
So then what happened?
So I saw this rally and it was sparsely attended. But you had the people in the red hats like sitting in the grass and there was a speaker on stage talking about who knows what, and he was an idiot, and I just I looked at it and I didn't feel like first of all, I was wearing all black, so I did not want to get confused for an Antifa while I was all by myself.
I was going to say you look neutral, but no, you look kind of threatening.
Antifa inside you probably created.
It's not that I don't want to be associated with them. I don't mind that, but not by myself.
Right.
The whole point is that you're doing things in is semi organized fashion, and I was by myself. So I basically ignored the rally, and by that point I had figured out that the Juggalos were actually meeting up in front of the Lincoln Memorial. So I started to head that way, which is another half.
You figured it out, or you had to look it up to find out where they were? And...
I had to check Twitter. I was like, where are all these people?
Where are the Juggalos?
Where are the Juggalos at?
Right.
Which is something you never thought you would ever type.
Just having been at a remove from this and kind of anticipating seeing it happen online, I was underwhelmed by the impact of it too, because people have been talking for months and months about the coming of the Juggalos to DC, and I mean your experience sounds like
once I found them, there were many.
Oh, okay.
There are many.
There were easily 1,000 plus Juggalos and Juggalo allies out there.
People who don't want to actually call themselves Juggalos.
Juggalo adjacent.
Here's the thing:
individuals.
we're all kind of snickering about this, but these people have legitimate grievances. They've been labeled as a gang.
I'm not snickering about it. I've been following them for a while.
They've been labeled as a gang by the FBI, and it's resulted in a lot of them being targeted for losing their jobs, getting their kids taken away. If they get arrested, they can get thrown into solitary confinement because they have the designation of being a gang member. All sorts of really shitty stuff, and they just like a band. And,
well, it's not just that. I mean... I'm not. The complaint is that the FBI keeps these kinds of lists on people, and that it can affect your life to this degree, and that it's the atmosphere, the law enforcement apparatus around all of this is oppressive. And if you think about it for a couple of minutes, it just means that we kind of live in an unfree society because it's allowed to happen like this.
Yes.
But specifically, they don't just like a band. They have like a whole weird ass lifestyle around.
So did the Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just saying.
Every band. This is the first band that it's ever fucking happened to.
But they
Spread heads and all them guys.
And theirs is a subculture kind of defined by mutual aid and support.
Yeah, they love each other.
They love each other.
They're also defined by the fact that a lot of them are rejected by most standards out there, particularly beauty standards. A lot of them are ugly and withdrawn and picked on and fat, and they're just all these other things and looked at as trash and so on and so forth. And the only people that they have to bond with are each other and this band.
Right.
The class politics were certainly on display. I mean, these were not like the elite of our country. These were people, and that's also why, by the way, the DC DSA was out there to give them Faygo and snacks. And
y'all gave them Faygo?
Faygo?
Y'all know exactly how to appeal to me. That was a brilliant fucking tactic.
They had and then they also had a socialist literature, a pamphlet called Faygo Not Fascism.
Holy shit, I love it. That is awesome.
About how
Faygo Not Fascism.
Yeah. About how law enforcement targets our families. And like capitalism is part of this problem, and like and we're all in this struggle together. Yeah, so
fucking brilliant.
So I met up with DC DSA and we met some comrades out there at the Juggalo rally. But yeah, there were a lot of people. There was a lot of face paint. There were some amazing signs, like dragnets, how the fuck do they work? Or, Faygo and hugs, not war and drugs. Things like that.
Jesus.
There were also some, like, Juggalo Lives Matter, which, a little more problematic. There were a lot of, like, there were kids out there. There were, which I was a little shocked by, because the Juggalos do like to swear a lot. They cuss.
Yeah.
So, we were out there and people were just kind of chanting randomly and, doing their whoop whoop thing, and which is a call sign, I guess, that they have among each other.
We'll have to check in with David Attenborough later.
But then once one of the speakers started, he said he's on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in front of the reflecting pool. He says, I have a motherfucking dream that the Juggalo family will not be disrespected.
Oh my god.
And
I have a motherfucking dream.
Yeah, it was
it
was amazing. Like the whole thing felt surreal. It was just, I kept just like standing around, looking around and saying, wow, this is wild. Because the thing is, all the regular Saturday Lincoln Memorial tourists were there. Plus there was some like big contingent of World War II veterans who were out there.
There always are.
That was their weekend.
They're
also, it was one of the worst booked weekends in DC.
I mean, those are basically the pigeons of the mall.
As far as DC failures go, DC booking failures go, this one.
Well, the thing is, like, just because they were having this rally doesn't mean that like everybody else can't come too.
Sure,
like they're not like, there was no like perimeter set up where it's like Juggalos only. Get your wristband, come in through here.
No, it's like,
it's a public space, so it made for some very interesting visuals. And then I think they did do a little march or some kind of march, but I had to leave to go back to the airport.
Were Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope there?
I don't know.
Was there any wrestling?
They do wrestle. That's a side thing that they do.
Okay.
Well, I didn't see any
Juggalos
wrestling.
and wrestling fans, there's some fucking overlap in the Venn diagram.
There seems there would be.
Yeah. There was a guy walking around in a Speedo.
Which
a
means
Juggalo?
Yeah, I got a picture of him.
With makeup?
No makeup.
All right.
Wait, you can be a Juggalo without makeup?
Yeah.
Well, you have this little tattoo that you can get. There's all sorts of little identifiers.
The hatchet man?
Juggalos, yeah.
The
of a little guy running with a hatchet. Or
Really?
a meat cleaver.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an identifier. The makeup's an identifier. And they also have several little bands underneath them that tour with them that are
A lot of
hopping aboard
people
the
talked.
train.
A lot of people talked though about how they wanted to be more of an out juggalo in their regular life, but they felt like they couldn't because they were being oppressed.
Yeah, so there's a
Especially by
freedom
this-
of expression here that we're not
Yeah.
getting to.
They've gotten pulled over because they had a sticker on their car, and then they got like a warrant. They can search them because of this designation and all this kind of. So there's
Legit cause.
Yeah.
It was Juggalos, the Juggalo Nation. I wonder what they're called. The whole crew. And it was their finest moment. It was when they got legitimized.
I gotta say, I was impressed. I empathize with their struggle. I wish them the best.
I've been following them for several years. It has to be 15 years because they used to wrestle in WCW back in the day. And every time, I cannot look away. Every time I look at like a video, I watched about 2 hours of it was like a 3-hour documentary they got on Netflix about their tour. I watched about 2 hours of it. Could not look away. It's weird.
I will say
there's something to it.
It was also it was pretty hot in DC, and a lot of them were wearing the big like hockey jersey type juggalo, like the ones that from their record company and stuff, and like big heavy pants and doing the full look. And it's a bold choice because it was really hot out there.
Yeah, it's funny. It's an identity politics thing, Whereas they got all the fucking same problems that a lot of they're just basically poor white folks.
Yeah,
almost all of them across the board.
Yeah,
they're just fucking poor white trash.
Surprising,
man.
yeah, they're although not entirely white.
The big bill of this weekend that people have been anticipating was the fact that they were all going to be there for this. And this has been planned for a long time, and it's been a running, like, almost joke, like, for a long time that this was going to happen. And that it was happening the same time as the Trump March, or the Mother of All Rallies, which turned out, like...
The Juggalos outnumbered those people 10-1.
Nice.
That's what it looked like. Like, it looked like the...
I was there.
I know. That's why I was asking
Eyewitness
you.
report.
So they won, I guess.
Funny story about the reflecting pool. A little off subject.
No, it's okay.
I'd always heard it called the reflecting pool, and then I would always look at those benches that line it, and I always thought, you go and you sit there at the benches at our nation's capital,
you
and you reflect on things about the greatness of America. And I had thought that for many years, and then I went to D.C. I walked up the Lincoln Memorial. I looked at Lincoln there. I turned around and I saw the Washington Memorial, and then I looked down at the reflecting pool and saw it reflected in the water, and I was like, oh!
Well, that was a moment of reflection.
It reflects in the pool. It's not about looking back.
Literal and figurative moment of reflection for you there.
It's just figurative. Yeah. That's why it's called that.
Yes.
It's not called because people think about their past or our nation's past.
Well, some, like Jim Garrison did, right?
Well, that's probably that moment in JFK was basically where I first heard it, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're sitting there thinking about things that had happened.
It's Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy, The Pool.
It was like very few moments in my life struck me with just such like, oh, you're a fucking dumbass. You are seeing what everyone else already knows now. Is there?
That's you. You were looking too deep for.
It happens to me all the time, and I end up looking like a dumbass. And it's just really that I'm just too far. Like I'm looking at a tiny little part of something instead of just pulling back and looking at the big picture. Fine description of how I have to endure this life.
I'm sorry that.
No, don't apologize. It's working out for me. So
we got to move on here.
Yeah, that's the story of how I stayed in DC an extra day just to go to the Juggalo
and became
March.
a Juggalo.
Now you are a
adjacent.
Juggalo, right?
No, I'm a Juggalo ally.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm also a Juggalo ally.
All right.
Right here.
Yeah, I'm not really going to say that. I haven't reached out. I haven't touched the Juggalo Nation. I haven't really done anything for them. So
you're preventing this podcast from officially endorsing
Being
the
all three.
Juggalo platform?
yeah, I mean, I got to say I don't really feel connected to it yet. So
I'm kind of surprised by this turn.
No, it's just it's not really about sentiment so much as just
they don't read much. I bet.
I just haven't had an opportunity to engage at all. So it's more like it wouldn't be legitimate for me to say anything about
I'm not entirely sure my endorsement is legitimate either. But
oh, okay. Well,
I feel it, so I'm doing it.
All right.
And I have watched them for a while. Always just with this fascination, though. Like, I'm looking for them to be fucking dickheads. I'm looking for the evil. It's got to be there. And I just kind of, like, keep spreading them, like, moving the fucking sand out of the way, digging deeper, deeper. There's no fucking evil there.
You know what it is about it for me is that they seem like basically like Ren Fair people to me.
And there's nothing wrong with
that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't really want to, I don't want to go. So, yeah, they can do whatever they like and feel good about it. Just do it over.
But you support Ren Fair people.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so that's a sort of almost.
Yeah, but the Ren Fair is not a gang.
As far as we know, no, I don't know. Maybe the FBI might have them on a list somewhere.
No,
I'm sure they probably do.
Neither do they have fucking deadheads or fish fans or.
I'm going to tweet
Kiss Army.
The Kiss Army or any
I'm going to tweet
Slipknot maggots.
I'm going to tweet at him and ask.
The NRA is a fucking far more fierce gang than the Juggalos.
Oh, I agree with that.
They're not fucking put on no list
that you know of.
Bikers for Trump. They were out there, so they said.
Let's do Seersucker Monday because me and Jeff can both participate in this.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be good. Seersucker Monday is the thing that happens on Labor Day that just you invented.
We normally don't do it on Labor Day, but we're going to do it on Labor Day from now on because we used to do it on Wednesday before Labor Day and nobody would show up. It was kind of like this thing where it's like, whoa, we're just partying on a Wednesday in September or August sometimes, and that's the fun of it. But also, nobody fucking generally has that day off.
How many of these have you done so far?
I think this year was our fourth year.
Fourth. Okay.
Yeah. And attendance was a little off because the Dirty Boys have been so busy. But
you guys have had quite the events calendar this summer.
We have. We've been getting it a lot.
You've been like cruise directing like crazy.
Yeah,
it's been a lot. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's been a big year for y'all, but definitely, she's right.
It has. And at 44, I'm starting to feel it. I just can't. It sucks that I'm having to do all this at 44. It would have been awesome if, in my 20s, I could have been
it seems like
had my own gallery and been an artist in the French Quarter and stuff.
Creating your own events and parties and things. It seems like what you were kind of meant to do.
I know. Now you're how much fucking fun am I going to get out of this before something horrible happens to me?
That's the way to think about it.
Well, I mean, shit. Get to 44. That's what happens. You get older.
Trying.
You start thinking about, not only you start thinking about it, it's something that is definitely going to fucking happen. It's not like it's like a fucking tsunami or something that you just worry about it and it's just fake. No, you're going to get old and decrepit and sick and shit. It's definitely going to fucking happen. So, yeah. Thinking about it. Although, not doing a fucking goddamn thing about it.
Well, that's good. I endorse that last bit of action there.
Anyways,
yeah. I did. By the way, while I was in DC, I learned my best secret to not getting a hangover ever.
No, yeah, yeah.
I'm only gonna drink sake.
Not every bar has sake.
Well, then I'm just gonna not drink as much.
Oh, now that might be a more apt technique to not getting a hangover. Just not drink as much.
Well, that I don't disagree with you, but I've like had moments, or I've had times this year where I've had 2-3 beers tops, not gotten a lick of drunk, and felt like shit the next day.
Yeah, no, I know where
I
you're
hate that.
coming from.
The two beer nothing hangover. This is a new thing in my 30s, and I hate it.
You know what? It might not have anything to do with the beers. It might have something to do with being in your 30s. Because trust me, it gets worse in your 40s.
Right. This is what But in DC, I drank a lot of sake. I had a great time. I was really hammered, and then I felt not great, but pretty decent the next day.
All right,
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Well, there's a lot wrong
or Japanese.
with it. Yeah.
Either way.
I'm just saying.
I think that we need more data in this experiment before we can draw a conclusion. Because
next Hunger Down, guys, we're going to bring some sake.
Yeah.
I love drinking sake.
We're going to heat it up.
No! Drink it cold.
I might have some in there right now if you want some.
So much better cold.
I think I have some cold sake in my fridge.
So you were talking about Seersucker
Yeah, we
Monday.
did. So we we wear Seersucker on Labor Day because it's the last day you're supposed to be able to wear it according to Southern tradition.
Yeah, people make rules about stuff.
And you're not allowed to wear it past Labor Day. And I am nothing if not a traditional motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I love that type of shit. So I'm like, every day we're all gonna dress up in Seersucker, get fucked up in the French Quarter, ride streetcars and stuff, and just walk around in our little group full of Seersucker, and give the tourists a show. And myself and Jeff and his lovely wife Chris did it, and Jeremy Hebert participated a little bit.
He wore pants.
He wore Seersucker pants, which he later ripped, doing a Van Morrison impression.
Nice.
Which is available on the web.
Wait, you guys put the video out of him doing
It's on the web. It's on my Instagram page, @VargVargas.
Okay.
And it's pretty accurate.
There was a second...
He's watched it a lot.
There was a second camera on that. There was going to be a behind-the-scenes video of you videoing him.
But it got botched.
But it got botched.
It cannot be done.
Yeah. Right.
It should not be done. We started at Igor's, a lovely bar. I love the Igor's. I've never had a bad time there. It's got a serpentine bar, which is beautiful.
Yeah, Igor's has got it always feels, no matter what time it is or what you're going, where you are, what night it is, it always feels like it's about 10:30 in the morning on Tuesday when you walk in there. It's a good feeling.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place, man. And then we hopped on the streetcar, and then we kind of did a dive bar tour, a local dive bar tour of New Orleans, if you really think about it.
Yeah, we did a little bit of this.
Because we hit Igor's, then we hit the Chart Room, then we hit the other Molly's. We weren't going to go to that popular Molly's. We were going to go to Molly's on Toulouse.
That's right.
Then we hit Dirty Boys. We saw a man, unbeknownst to us, who was also celebrating Seersucker Day, which I thought I had an original thought here, and every time this happens, I get fucking smoked by the universe. He was wearing his Seersucker on Labor Day because it was the last day to wear it. Yeah. And he was a fine, full-headed, silver-haired man. Like James Brolin-looking motherfucker, you know?
Damn.
Rolling around in his Seersucker.
Nice.
Super nice. Cool. Took a picture with us. And then we rolled on over. We checked out the Decadence for a little while. And Jeff, of course, had to stop and talk to a guy who had signs all over his house about how a judge was fucking him out of his property. And Jeff, being the, the investigative reporter that he is.
There's this guy who lives right next door to Oz who had signage on the front of his house, and he told the whole story about how some judge was fucking him over.
Judge was what he said. He never said the judge's name.
He didn't?
Just called him Judge.
I wonder about this.
My name is Judge.
Judge tried to take my property. Judge is forcing me out of here.
Judge Reinhold?
No,
what
not
I remember
him.
Of this, it was
shockingly.
It was a dispute between him and the Motwani, who owns the Oz now, and because his house is adjacent to is adjacent to Oz.
There's some shared
There's
property
some
in
kind
the
of
back,
shared deal
Yeah.
with it, where he says that that Motwani and the judge, and I'm looking at the signage now. I have a photograph of this, but it doesn't say the judge's name. You're right about this. It just says
Because it's Judge Reinhold.
right. Like the signage says,
it has to be.
The signs on this
It
guy's
could be
house,
Judge Smales. It could be Judge Reinhold. We're not sure.
It says
Could be Judge Wapner.
The sign says land grab by Judge and his friend, the greedy, ruthless businessman. Judge is breaking the law to force me to break the law.
Wait, no, it's just archetypes that are out to get him.
Yes, right. Judge is ruling on favoritism, not the law, so Judge could give my home to his friend, the greedy, shady, ruthless businessman.
I live
the
in-
man behind the curtain.
I live
Just
at
pay no attention to him.
123 Allegory Street.
Right. The third panel reads, FBI needs to investigate judges' rulings for corruption. Judge violated my civil rights by ruling for his friend, and it wants to say against, but it's against zoning laws, and then it ends in a happy face. And that's a 3-panel sign hanging
Man.
from the eve of the.
I guess Stuart
of the
Smith
building.
isn't doing so well these days.
So we're walking by this, and obviously Jeff has to stop and talk to this fucker. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I just look and be like,
No
there's
shit.
some shit going on. Jeff's like, he's saying, so what is all this, man? What's going on here, eh? And then the guy goes and tells you what? Nothing
that's not on the signage,
right?
Like it's judge and businessman.
And this guy is accompanied on all sides by dudes like with hands full of beads that they're going up and putting on tourists and then asking for $1 and stuff like that. Like all around this dude, there's those guys. You know,
This is just like
shoe shine scammers,
a
and shit like
simulacrum of an event. Like this isn't real.
It was
This is
real.
This is a diorama that someone created.
And it was on Decadence,
right
at Oz on the Monday of Decadence.
Are
where
you sure you didn't walk into a WIES special?
the whole day was like that.
Yeah, that's basically most of my life anyway.
Then we ended up at one of Jeff's favorite bars in the quarter, Johnny White's.
Right. And we just kind of hung out there for a while and then scooted on off.
Yeah, and then we went home. And it was,
but we looked good.
Yeah, we looked good. We were both. There's pictures online of us. And I encourage anyone who wants to come next year. We're going to do it on Labor Day from now on because it just makes the most sense.
I mean, it's just a Labor Day pub crawl and everybody gets dressed up.
Yeah. And we all look good. And people were stopping us and taking pictures with us and such. And,
Yeah, it was almost like we were Disney characters or something walking around the quarter.
Yeah, and we all had our little wave that we did for it.
That's right.
Like that.
People were very complimentary about it.
It was. We looked nice. We went by Shock Bowl, paid our respects.
We did.
Only the most important of tasks.
Only the most important.
I only have one more thing on my list, but I do.
I'm fading.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. We've been doing this for a couple of hours, actually. Did you want to read the Jive Wire?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. We got a brand new fucking Jive Wire for you guys.
Do that.
We're going to boot it up. Boot up, world. Here we go. Just waiting for my computer to boot up. No any not.
Oh, I didn't
jokes.
realize you had to boot the whole computer up.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. No.
Nah, it's okay. It's fine.
No.
A little thing happening there. It's
Here we go. Play the music, Jeff. The Jive Wire is brought to you at the top of the oddest hours, like 12:03 a.m., for example.
Kill me.
The Steamboat Queenie hosts Cali Calliope at sunset. The Girard Cemetery Bar hosts So Long LaSalle Street at 7.
I like that one.
Mother & Bill's features the brain-eating Abitas. They switched from their normal gig.
They move.
At 7.
They get around.
TBA Airbnb hosts Charbonnet and the Charbonnets at 7. The Third Try Tavern features Bill the Shill Cassidy at 7. The Wire hosts #Standing with David the Deuce Simon at 7. The Baton Rouge Booster Bar has Less Woulda Won at 8. The Sean Payton Preservation Society has Rita Woulda Won at 8. Tom Benson's coaching search party is at the Bunker Club Lounge at 8. Sean Shack hosts Up There Donkey at 9. The Jefferson Parish Levee District Dance Hall hosts Undercover Wall Bangers at 9. Y'all get that one next week.
Yeah, we were supposed to talk about that.
The Missile Hanger hosts Rocket Man at 9. Tom Benson's coaching search party. Oh, we are.
You did that one.
Republic hosts the Mackles Mackerels at 8. Happy birthday, Travers and
Fletcher.
Did y'all know they're different guys? Pack Money influencers are at the back room at Sydney's. That's Sydney with a Y. At 8. Mr. Mays hosts Beer in the Book Drop at 8. The Debutante Hall hosts Praxis Mobile at 9.
We didn't talk about that one either for some reason.
Betty's Pub and Grub and Rub and Tug features the Happy Endings at 9.
So many references to things that didn't get talked about.
The Outfall Canal Bar has Ralph Brennan with the Illegal Bourbon Grease Trap Singers at 9. Retired Bob's Bar features the Irma Tanola Truthers at 9. Mondays in Mandeville features the Ghost of Irvin Mayfield at 9. And the Booty Bounce Bar features Wheezy White Girl at midnight. To get your gig into the Jive Wire, holla at us on Twitter. And it's also sponsored by We Met in the Air.
Oh, yeah, congratulations to Ira.
Yeah, congrats, Ira.
Yeah.
And MP on your new edition.
Henry Lee Ray.
Yeah.
Named it after a very popular murder ballad, man. That's ballsy. I like that. I guess that's all we got.
So get out there, support.
And enjoy
some
live local music.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Bye,
so
everybody.
This is it. We're getting out of here. We got to go because it's late. And thanks for listening.
What do you mean?
What?
It's fucking 4 hours from 4 o'clock.
Holy shit.
4 hours from bedtime.
We'll get to work. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.